So I visited 2 dogs yesterday for behaviour consultations. So if you don't know me, I'm Ellie. I'm a dog behaviour specialist and I work with clients for many different behaviours, but specifically reactivity, multi-dog household behaviour struggles and relationship struggles and resource guarding. But yesterday I didn't work on any one of these things. The 2 clients I went to go and visit were for dogs who do excessive shadow chasing and reflection chasing. So the 2 dogs were both working spaniels. They were in different homes, completely unrelated, and they were in my old stomping ground. So I used to live in Milton Keynes. I grew up there. That's where I used to work before I moved to Essex, and I haven't been back there in quite a few years, but I did have a client, 2 separate clients who I used to work with who wanted my help. So I went and had a great day as well, got to see the dogs again, which was really nice. But I wanted to talk to you about shadow chasing and reflection chasing and what that looks like and what drives it and what contributes to it. So although it looks like the dog is having a really wonderful time whilst they are shadow chasing or reflection chasing, they actually aren't. It's a coping mechanism. So usually it's a coping mechanism for either chronic stress or pain somewhere in the body. So pain, discomfort, that kind of thing, usually in the gut. So the gut is the dog's stomach, that's their second brain. If that is unstable in any way, or if there is something wrong, so sometimes if a dog has giardia, that can cause it. If they have an absorption problem, so they're not absorbing all the right vitamins and minerals, then that can cause gut upset as well. And they can just have, of course, IBS and normal doggy upset stomachs. This can cause and contribute to shadow chasing, reflection chasing and obsessions in that way. So it is an OCD type behaviour and it feeds itself because it's almost like escapism for the dog. So this is where the chronic stress or chronic anxiety comes in, is if a dog has either of those things, then the chasing of reflections and shadows becomes so self-reinforcing to do that they will continue doing it over and over and over again to a point where they can do it for hours continuously, and it's very difficult to interrupt. So in the case of one of the dogs who I visited yesterday, he did it for 2 hours the night before, and that was the first time he'd done it for that length of time, but the owners had noticed the behaviour was increasing in him. So although it can show up differently in different dogs and it'll be different things that they seem to chase or watch, usually it is something that it's a secondary behaviour. So what I mean by secondary behaviour is there's usually something else going on for the dog as well. So whether it is separation anxiety or it is dog-to-dog reactivity or just social skill struggles in some way, maybe they're sound sensitive, there's usually something else that's going on that's underlying. Resource guarding is another one. That's a really, really common one that goes hand in hand with shadow chasing and reflection chasing. So we have to look at the dog's lifestyle as a whole and readdress loads of different things within it. Now, it's usually a very good idea to get a vet checkup as well when it comes to shadow chasing, reflection chasing. Make sure that the dog is healthy, make sure that there is nothing wrong, check out how they're walking as well. In both the dogs I saw yesterday, there are gait issues. So a gait issue is the way the dog moves. So in one of them, they weren't using the front leg properly. So although they were walking and running and they put the weight on it, they weren't using it in the correct way. And it looked like they were trying to shift weight from one to another in a very abnormal manner. And in the second dog who I saw, he has an intermittent back leg that flicks out when he's moving. So these are things that need looking at, need addressing. Dogs should move quite fluidly, whether they are walking or they're running or they're galloping around. You shouldn't see bunny hopping in the back end. You shouldn't see any kind of limping or throwing of any joints, so that they're not throwing their shoulder when they're moving. They should look fluid and look very, very naturally relaxed when they're moving. So it's important to, like I say, look at the dog as a whole, look at everything within their lifestyle, make sure that the gut is okay and there's nothing going on there, and then addressing the stress and anxiety in the dog's world. So sometimes it can be that they are over alert and over anxious and over aware of things because they don't have a job, like their brain is not stimulated in the way that it needs to be. Now, this isn't the case for all dogs who do this, but sometimes it it is a common theme, and that is usually because it is common in the working breed. So working spaniels, working collies, working shepherd types, they are more prone to it because they've got the very busy brain. They're very clever, they're very drawn to movement, they're very drawn to anything that's different in the environment because they've been bred to be that way. So if they've been bred to be very aware of environment changes and then there's no job outlet, sometimes that can then move on to shadow chasing, movement chasing, reflection chasing. So I hope this has been helpful to you, and if your dog is a shadow chaser or a reflection chaser, or they do anything like that, contact a behaviourist. You're welcome to contact myself, because you need to address it. Your dog is not having a good time. It is a coping mechanism, and it becomes a very solid loop that just keeps happening for your dog, as an escapism and as a way of managing either pain or stress and anxiety. So leave your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if your dog is a shadow chaser, and what you if you've been able to overcome it, what you've done as well to help with that.